Hello everyone, Corey Creed here from Social Fresh. We're here at Social Fresh East in April of 2013, and I have the pleasure of being joined with Katie Richman. I'm saying that right?
You are saying that right.
Excellent. And you are with ESPN.
Yes, I am.
Just got off the stage. We grabbed you and brought you back here
Fresh
to talk
off the
to you.
stage, yes.
Fresh off Social Fresh stage.
Yes, I am.
You're with ESPN. What's your official title, and then what does that mean?
So I am a director of social media and social product development.
Okay.
I focus on a couple properties mainly, Global X Games and ESPNW, which is our women's business.
Okay, so we talked a little bit earlier about the folks from JetBlue, talked to the guy from JetBlue, Morgan, and he gave a great presentation too, as you did really as well. Now, the way they're set up is a little bit differently, I think. You know, they're kind of just moderating all day, every day, customer service, and then when there's an issue, that's all hands on deck. But you probably have a different setup. And you told me earlier off camera that you're just one of many different groups of social media. Is that right? How's that all work behind the scenes of social in ESPN?
So just like everyone else, we're still feeling out the ideal situation. I think everybody's kind of always morphing a little bit. The way it is set up right now, we have our marketing team in New York that is handling our main accounts. So the ESPN account that you see, the main ESPN feeds, are generally, it's not totally, but generally handled by our marketing team and then some folks that work there. But all the assets come from Bristol, Connecticut, which is where our headquarters are. So there's a cast of a lot of people in production that help get all that stuff. So I'd say it's very much real, but it's just sort of the oversight and the management and the staffing comes out of there. The show accounts, all the show accounts come out of Bristol. So Sports Nation, Sports Center, all of that is is managed by a group that focuses on TV.
Right there.
Then our digital then our digital properties. So I'm trying to think what would be, so ESPNW, for example, we don't have TV at all. So we're considered a digital media property. So we're under digital media, and that's kind of separate from the TV piece because we don't have a TV extension.
I see.
So we're kind of managing ourselves in a separate way.
So mostly through the website and all the social properties.
Exactly, exactly. But we all work through like we have kind of a central task force that brings everything together. And
you know, you talked about in your program about, well, I'll time something somebody else said earlier is this. Social media in larger businesses, it's like a duck that just glides along the water, but the reality is the feet are going crazy underneath, right? But you had a similar one. You had an illustration, let me see if I got it right, clock face. Right.
Yeah, so one of the main things that I was talking about is just that one of the main things that happens across a business that's large is that we're rebuilding everything from scratch every single time. And so I see across our entire business huge and intricate projects being built from scratch, and then we're not reusing those models across the business. So one of the main things, I don't even know if you call this a focus on social media as much as content, is to be able to replicate things that work. So an example that I didn't talk about during my talk is that for the women's tournament, for example, we were using athlete photos during the tournament, and we were searching the hashtags. So Skylar Diggins is one of the big draftees. She just got drafted, but she posts tons of Instagram photos. So we were searching her handle. The athletes were all aware we were doing this.
Yeah, sure.
And we would take her photo and show it on TV, and then we would say, for more athlete photos, go to espnw.com/tourney photos. And it was a whole gallery full of their photos that would click through to the sources and all that kind of stuff.
So driving traffic to the website.
It was driving traffic from TV to the website for a social gallery.
Which of course you have display advertisers on.
Which we didn't yet. That'll be a next generation. We wanted to ease ourselves into this. You know, one of the things I was talking about during this session was building out content strategies that work. So this was really building out the template for a future integration. But we ended up with 1.3 million page views out of that. Cost us no money to build it out, and it was a team of 2. So talk about something that worked really well that we should be cloning across lots of properties.
And that's
so I think my job is kind of to do that.
Yeah, that's a good takeaway for even smaller businesses, right? And large business, both corporate, agency, whatever, is you put all this work and creativity into creating content, reuse it.
Exactly. So it's just kind of putting your radar up for, we all have things that we know are working, I think we're really critical of the things that aren't working, but the little things that are working, whether it's a gallery, something, being aware of our analytics and the things that are doing well for us, and then driving those things really hard.
Yeah. And then with the clock face illustration, just put a different face on it. Everybody else thinks it's something different. Or
right. Someone asked me, how long does it take before that gets stale? And I think it doesn't get stale if you do it right, because if the workings of the clock underneath are truly close to your business and are truly close to the values of what you're doing, and you're reskinning the face of it in a good way every time, it really shouldn't. No one should be aware that you're even doing that.
There's no lifetime value. It just keeps recirculating.
It really does. It resurfaces as something new every time.
Now, you had another great question posed to you, and I'd love to elaborate a little bit more on it. It was talking about the how do you get the time to go by quicker? So how do you avoid all these approvals before you post something, before you go live with something? And you had mentioned that your whole process for approvals is getting a little shorter.
Right. Yeah. So the question was that they've noticed that we've been doing a lot more real-time photos with the quotes over the top of them than we used to be able to do on all of our feeds. And how are we doing that? And I was saying that time lapse has condensed a lot and crunched down.
Take us on the inside of that. Is that difficult to do, to get that to happen in a big
that approved?
A big organization like ESPN? I mean, there's got to be a lot of layers, no?
Yes. Yeah. It definitely isn't easy. I think we have to have champions at the top of our company. That's definitely not me.
Sure.
That's people that support us and that have to come from the top. So I'm not saying it's completely out of your hands and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm saying that you got to figure out who those. It could be one person. But find that one person that champions what you're doing, and kind of get that support, and have them understand the value in cutting out the layers. And if you can get one person to understand, so if one person sees the Oreo Super Bowl thing and gets it, because we all know that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it came up,
If one person sees that in a senior role and understands it, and you can say in a very specific way, here's how this applies to us, I need these 3 steps implemented, and let's try it on one. I think you just have to be specific. You can't just be like, oh, I generally need less steps. They don't know how to help you. On this one project that's very low risk, let's try a 3-step process. And if you could make this happen, you're a hero, and say that to your boss. Let them be the hero. Don't take the credit. Let them be the champion on a low-risk project, and you start breaking ground.
That's the way you got to do it. Hey, one last quick question. You mentioned a couple times Pinterest. What has Pinterest done for ESPN? How big has that been for you? Is it just another tool in the bag, or has it been something special for ESPN?
So for ESPN as a whole, I think the demographic is a little different because.
More men than women. Pinterest, more women than men.
ESPNW, and given everything I was talking about with photos and images, we've only scratched the surface of what we can do. For me and my team, it's been a bit of a resource issue. We look at a Real Simple, or if you look at one of the magazine or retail properties that's translating over, they already have a stock of imagery, and the translation's a lot easier. We are making everything from scratch. So it's been difficult. We've had conversations and meetings where we've talked to the team at Pinterest about how to make an ideal page, and it's just so overwhelming to think about the customization that's needed. So we're working on it. But it's just, we just need to get to that point where we either put some other things aside and focus solely on that, or get there slowly.
Well, fantastic. Here at Social Fresh, for those of you that are here and watching this after the fact, or if you haven't attended a Social Fresh before, one of the things that came out of this time is making that shareable content. It's not just getting your content shared, it's who shares your shares, right? It's that second level. And you've done a fantastic job with this ESPN, it's called the Cold List. Where can people find it to look at a good example? Because it was a great example. It's the ESPNW.com/cold list. And that's
how
long will it be up for?
It'll be up. It'll be up.
So you can go check it out.
Even in the summer it'll be up. It's a great example. It's my baby. I have to leave it up for a little while.
Excellent.
So check it out.
Great. Katie, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it.
Great conference.
Excellent. Thank you.